Oh, no, it works. This thing is like 10 feet long, so, you know, that helps too. So it could go anywhere. So I have essentially a clickable prototype. Well, actually, this is also, oh, no, stop. All right, so we are doing my user test for Ryder. This is the equestrian app. So you are gonna help me figure out what I need to maybe fix, because I've been pretty much thinking of how to make this app on my own without having any sort of user feedback. So you're gonna pretty much test drive it today to see if maybe the way that I think this should be navigated might not be the same way that someone else would. So I'm gonna give you a task, and what you're gonna do is these will be full size, but you're gonna pretty much click on each part of the thing to what you would think you would click in order to get to the next page to get what needs to be done.
Okay.
But the important thing is I need you to talk through your thinking process of be like, okay, I see this screen first. In order to do this, I might naturally want to click this first, but I might also want to click this, and just pretty much talk out and explain your reasoning for me.
Okay.
And hopefully, if I did this and thought this through well enough, you'll be able to click on everything and be able to do this correctly. But also the goal for this is for me to kind of fail. So
Use your feedback.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to have this set up in a minute, but your goal, I'm going to tell you real fast. You have a couple things you need to do. So the first thing you're going to do is you need to locate the specific rider named Summer. The second thing you need to do is you need to prepare her recording, which means that you need to make sure that visual tracking, obstacles, and distance are activated or set for the recording, or like set up for the recording. The third step when you get there is you're going to set up a little pattern. It looks like that. You're just going to put 5 of the specific obstacles in a row. They're the pole obstacles, but essentially, yeah, just click that one. But essentially, you're going to want to just set 5 up in a line, and then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to start the recording. So again, the whole purpose of this app is if you were an equestrian coach, and say I was an equestrian rider, and you wanted to physically track and record my movements and my speeds and everything, you could have that recorded and reference it and hopefully have a better rider because of it.
Okay.
So I'll repeat again, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to locate the specific rider named Summer. The second is you're going to prepare her recording by specifically you're going to track her visual tracking, obstacles, and distance. You're then going to set up the pattern, which hers is just 5 poles in a row, and then you're going to start and stop the recording.
Okay.
So do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. So this is essentially the home loading screen. So, you know, it'll pop up, and then when it's done loading, this is your home screen.
Okay.
So we're going to pretend that you are already a coach that already has their information. So
my username and password are already loaded?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I guess
I would just hit remember me or next. I'm looking for, if I put my username and password in, will it automatically take me to the next screen?
Yeah, so that was as if you typed in your info, you pressed enter.
Understood.
Okay.
So I need to find Summer.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm looking at the screen and there are 2 Summers listed. Actually, and it looks like there's possibly a third below. So I'm not sure if there's supposed to be a difference between the 2, but I'll just go with the first one since that's who I was trying to locate.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you read through everything first?
No, I went on the audio, the oral instructions you gave me.
Mm-hmm.
So recording 1 Summer,
mm-hmm.
recording 4 Summer. The date is the 2nd and the date is the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So are these existing recordings that I'm looking at? Okay, so then I would go to Riders.
Okay.
So to me, if
so essentially there's supposed to be images there of like screenshots or thumbnails of the recordings,
okay.
But this is like rough draft version.
Okay, so just based on the oral instruction that you gave me, when I saw the name Summer popped up on the screen, I assumed that that's what I needed to press.
Yeah.
Without reading.
I can see that, yeah. So you're looking for the specific writer, not her specific
so
recording.
I would click on Riders would be what I would assume I would need to do.
Okay,
and
so
now
far,
that
so
I
good.
see that there are multiple Ryder's available. Now I would click on Summer.
Okay, so you've completed task 1, which is find the rider. The second is you're going to prepare to record her, and you want to make sure that visual tracking, distance, and obstacles are set.
Okay, so if I want to do a new recording, I would assume that I would hit new recording, and it was going to bring me to a screen of settings.
Good guess.
That is a good guess.
All right.
Okay, so the screens of settings, you said I needed to set visual tracking.
Uh-huh.
So I would click that. I would click obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, I'm sorry, it was visual tracking, obstacles. What was it?
Distance.
Distance, okay. That one, distance. So there we go. And then I would hit go.
So not bad. You're on the right track. Just because the way this is set up, essentially what you'd want to do is not just, you could click the things or you could click the little toggles for each one versus just like the picture. Because what I had personally intended was that if you clicked each one, it would pull up a little screen that just told you what the visual tracking would do. So if you clicked the image, it'd be like visual tracking does blah, 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 blah,
But
blah.
if I already know what it does, is there a way to bypass that?
You just click the little toggle.
Okay.
So yeah.
Gotcha. So I would have clicked the little button, the little dot.
Yeah, the
This
little
one,
switch one.
This one and this one. Okay.
There you go. So yeah, so I only made the last one the hotspot on this page, but essentially it shows you that these 3 have been set on. And
So
these weird lines are just because I took photos on my screen.
Okay, and it might just be my visual, but those
Hold
don't
on
look...
1 second. Let me see if I can make this.
Okay, that's much better. 'Cause those don't look like they've been touched. I would have assumed that made them blue or green or something very obvious.
Okay. So you've selected those. The next thing is set up the pole pattern, which is just 5 poles in a row.
I'm stumped. I'm stumped because sorry.
Just click. There you go.
I would not assume it's the profile because that would be me as a user. Obviously, it's not in recordings, gating, distance, alarms, unless it's, well, I've already clicked obstacles. And data, I don't have any other choice. I would assume, I guess I'd have to click data. No. Okay. I don't know where to go to set up.
So how I had it, what I thought is you'd choose your preset tools of which you wanted, but it wouldn't be until you click go that you could set up a course or something if you wanted to.
Okay.
So
Are these the polls? Okay. So when I see this, I'm assuming that is supposed to be the riding arena. And as a horsewoman, I recognize what these symbols are. And you asked for 5 poles, so I'm assuming I'm going to drag. Ooh.
So like this prototype thing can't do that. So what you'll just do is you'll just click the center. Because I'll be like, as if you dragged and dropped it. And then, oh my gosh, look at that.
And my question is, do I drag and drop, or would I have tapped on it and then gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I would assume drag and drop is what I was doing because, for example, if you're doing like a jump course where everything's in random spots, I figured you could just drag it and drop it to the specific spot that you'd want it to be. But this is just the way that this prototype mechanism thing is. You can't do drag and drop options. You just do click.
Okay.
So
yeah, I would have, if I had attempted the drag and drop and it did not work, the next thing I would have done would have been to tap it and then tap where I wanted it.
Okay.
And I would have tapped it, if I wanted a fence or if I wanted a barrel, I would have done that. That intuitively is how I would have done it.
And then your last step is record the session.
It because then it's ready to go.
So repeat what you just said. So you set up the polls.
I set up the polls, so now I'm thinking the pattern is set, so I've ended that task, and the next task I need to do is record.
Okay, so what would you click? You said you would click end.
I would click end, but then I would have gone down to...
So these little things are supposed to be as if it was like a phone, the type of phone itself has these icons on it.
I see. Okay. Well, then I would have clicked begin if I would have assumed that would have started my pattern. Okay.
So you didn't think that the begin and end meant for recordings. You thought it meant for setting up the pattern? Okay, that's good to know. So then this little doodle is as if the person
did the pattern.
And then how would you end the recording session?
Then I would just hit end.
Good job. Okay, so that